World, time to debut a new behind the scenes dealio. This one is called What's Your Next Move? Yeah, it's about real estate and a heck of a lot more. So I want you to stay tuned. Let's get the key players here. There we go, Neil. There we go. All right, all looks good. Okay, tape is rolling. Let's get this puppy started. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Time now for a new show. You're going to love it. It's called What's Your Next Move? Right now, let's go to the studios and introduce Tanya Rivers and Neil Lavelle. Good to have you along today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So, this is a real estate show as well as infrastructure and more. Let's hand it over to the co-hosts, Neil and Tanya.
Hey, Tanya, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Neil?
Oh, man, just excited about what's your next move and getting this finally up and off the ground and really being able to add value to others' lives and helping them to get reestablished in their lives and just the real.
Yeah, it is. We're super excited today because this is going to be a great lifestyle program, a lifestyle radio show. We're going to cover everything from death and debt and divorce and foreclosures and how to deal with probate issues and family matters and just really just give you real information you can use within your day-to-day lives and share with the friends and family and coworkers that you come in contact with. So we're excited about that. And we have our guest with us today. We have our guest here, Kevin. Hello, Kevin.
Hi, my name's Kevin Doran. I'm with Perfect Title and Escrow.
All
Yeah,
right.
And that's
all
a privilege to be here with you guys.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Neil, let's get it started. Let's talk about what's really happening here in Central Florida.
Well, see, you know what, Tanya, the real moves that people don't really see are the moves that are behind the scenes. And one of the things that, I do is I follow the trends. And, I don't believe that the market's going to crash and all that. But what I am seeing, though, in Orange County, I mean, this is public information.
Right.
If we had 300 foreclosures all of last year, we had 396 foreclosures filed
Right.
in the last month.
Right.
That's scary.
Right. That's monthly. This is not, we're not talking about for the year.
Not for the year.
This is monthly.
Monthly
That's
in
insane.
Orange County. So my prediction is the market is we're going to start to see some more inventory. Why? Because these HOAs are not playing any games.
Right.
And it's a lot of them that are foreclosing on your property. So you guys out there, you got to be really ready to absorb these HOAs. And the HOAs are really coming after you. And if you're not prepared to fight this lawsuit, and it's real, you know what it is? A lot of people fell behind during COVID.
Well, why do you think that's happening with the homeowners associations and falling behind? What do you think? I mean, the market was so good,
Right,
18 months
right.
ago, and we had everyone moving and relocating and purchasing investment properties. What do you think happened?
Well, no, listen, it's real simple. What happened is, listen, people from the Northeast and the West Coast that came down here, it was so easy. I mean, it was really easy prior to even going into that market. The market was on fire, right? So guess what happens? COVID hits, and then those same people that were really buying these homes that, were putting, 30%, 40% down. Well, guess what? After COVID came,
Right.
problems came. So after these problems came, the first things that go are the HOAs, the lawn maintenance, the pool maintenance. And I got news for you. These HOAs, they ain't not playing any games.
Because the fees add up very
They
quickly.
do,
And
really
sometimes
quickly.
if you're dealing with monthly HOAs, I mean, and Florida's beautiful and you do pay for the lifestyle, but when you have pools and things like that,
You gotta keep 'em up.
$300 or $400 a month is nothing for
Well,
an HOA. Sometimes, in the upscale areas, new properties, new developments, you're going to spend that kind of money. I mean,
and on top of that, what happens is once they fall behind, now these HOAs, they want their money.
Right.
They're not going to let the community fall down or to become less desirable because you're an out-of-town investor or a
Right.
second home owner.
Right.
And because of that, now you're not making the payments? No. They're
Right.
going to file a lawsuit, really, which is called the list pendants.
and you deal with that. I mean, you've fought HOA and all of that
absolutely.
before, so you know what the process is.
Believe me, I know, because I've been through it myself. I've got a real story over here. So, I've been through some of those tough things,
Right.
and it's not easy. And
Right.
people, and those lawsuits, they're just as bad as any foreclosing
Right.
bank.
Right. And emotionally, you're already dealing with
Oh, man.
your property, and now you're dealing with the extra fees, added expenses. What are some other reasons you think maybe the foreclosures are? I mean, 396 in a month. That's a lot. There's a lot of filings. What do you think?
That's a lot. But listen, once what happens though is, although it's these people aren't paying,
Right.
that's part of the reason. I mean, you got to cut to the chase here,
Right.
and you got to understand that they're not paying. So when they're not paying, the HOA is going to then move to come after you. So
Right.
if they coming after you, then they start the process. But why? Why? The real question is why, which is always lack of income. You know, things have changed. People work from home now. People, you know, the job market has changed. And those that have actually come down here to Florida, they're not used to making this money that
Right.
they make in the Northeast and on the West
But they
Coast.
could have overextended themselves as well
They
too, because you had
they
what
absolutely did.
2.5% interest rates, 2.25% interest rates. So you're like, hey, let me get multiple properties. I mean, you're seeing that, and they want to buy investments.
There's several people that bought investments. There's second people that bought second homes.
Correct.
There's second people that are in their primary homes
Right.
too. And, you know, the hard reality is, you know, they have to now downsize because they can't afford.
Right.
You know, and it's expensive, just like you said. Back then it was 3%. Now
Right.
it's 6.5%.
Right. And some of those investment properties that you're seeing too as well, I mean, they bought them for short-term rentals, Airbnb, things like that. But guess what? If people aren't traveling as much, or maybe you don't have a strategy, right? Everyone thinks, oh, let me get a second property. Let's do, monthly rentals or weekly rentals. You really need a strategy for Airbnb because you need to cover that mortgage. You need to be making $3,000, $3,500 a month, and if you're only getting one rental a weekend because you're trying to outprice everyone, you're trying to make as much money as you can, you're not going to get that many bookings.
No, it's
so you
true.
might end up with only maybe $500-$600 worth of income for the month, and then you're like, oh, what do I do? I have a mortgage, and now I have to pay for the repairs.
Yeah,
Remember,
and the
they
upkeep.
dinging up your house, the maintenance on your home, all those things are included. So yeah.
You also have the people that refinanced.
Mm-hmm.
When their
Oh,
property
yeah.
values went through the roof,
Yeah, that's real.
they paid $300,000 for their house. It's now worth $600,000. They refinanced their loan to get cash out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's 2 years later.
And the payments are up. The payments are higher,
The
and you got to
payments
pay.
are higher. Maybe their income didn't go up, or their
Nope.
income went down, and now they're paying
Exactly.
on $600,000 instead of $300,000.
Yep.
They realize they can't afford it. And
Exactly.
that's a big reason, also.
Yeah, oh yeah, and that hard reality is on the first of the month when you got to
Right.
make that payment. So,
Right.
and that there's some reality there of, hey, I really can't afford this.
Right.
So there's a lot of people that the reality check has finally, hit.
Here, right.
Now it's the rubber has met the road here. Now it's okay. So what is going to be your next move? Like
Right.
really, what is going to be? your
And that's
next
what we do here with Strategy Now, and I think it's a good time to let them know that that's what we do. We help
That's
you make
exactly
your
what
next
we-
move. We help you get through those foreclosures. I mean, exactly. Do they know when they need to start? When is the first step when you're thinking, oh my God, I can't make these payments. I need to stop
Stop right
making
there,
payments.
right
Right?
there. So
Yeah.
when I cannot, and most people know when their budget is really tight.
Right.
Tanya. Come
Yep.
on. I mean, when, what, I don't have any more reserves. I don't have, like Kevin said, the money that I just refinanced. I went shopping, vacation, I did everything else, and I haven't done anything. So
Right.
now it comes to reality. So the point is, you guys out there that's listening, you need to call us at that point. When you know that you're running into a situation and you really can't afford anymore to really make that payment, that's when you call. And again, I can be reached at, this is Neil Lavelle, and I can be reached at 407-466-1529 or neillavelle.com. And again, it's 407-466-1529. And that's Neil Lavelle. So, but you can call me directly when you really know you're really about to run into that situation. Let's get ahead of it,
Right.
so we now know how to plan for it. Because that's the biggest part. People just don't know how to plan
Right.
their way out.
You need a strategy.
Need a
You have to
strategy.
have a
And
strategy.
that's where we come in.
That's what we do.
No, so I love the fact of what we're here to do, Tanya, is really to really help a lot of people that's out there, from foreclosures to new construction to personal development to rentals. We really, with our experience, we really can add a lot of value to a lot of people.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is a great thing.
So Tanya, tell me, what do you really do? What do you specialize in every day?
Right, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about relocating to Florida, right? We're talking about the northern states. We're talking about Virginia, Maryland, New York. Everyone is flocking here, but the one thing that they understand is the prices aren't the same, Neil.
No.
The prices aren't the same. Before you can come to Florida, Central Florida, and maybe purchase in a high-end area, $250,000, $300,000, get a great property. Now you're going to pay more.
Oh, yeah.
But the folks that are coming in from the north area, they're used to paying for a small home, small space, small apartments. And they're spending $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. So their money is still going to stretch when it comes to Florida, but it's not going to stretch as much. I mean, the interest rates are growing. You need to be prepared to plan accordingly. You can still make money, still relocate and save if this is going to be your forever state and your forever place, and you can still make money that way as well.
No, absolutely. But they got to come with a strategy.
You have to have a strategy, definitely.
Got to have that plan. If you don't have a plan in place, call Neil and Tanya.
Sounds like we're going to have a lot to talk about
Oh,
today.
yeah, we do.
Ah, yes. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Neil and Tanya and their special guest, Kevin. This is What's Your Next Move?
I like the music, too.
I do.
Thank you. All right, let me clean this out a little bit.
She's a DJ.
Nah, that was great, Tanya. Did we lose her? Okay.
No, I got to clean this up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It's called fixing it in the mix. Just got to make sure. There it is.
Your next hot topic.
Definitely. We're going to talk about
Kevin.
title, Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
Title and escrow.
Yay.
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 The little known facts.
Yeah.
Really
There you go,
exciting
no.
topic.
It is. It really
Yeah.
is.
No, it's real
It real.
toppers, you know. And there's a lot of people
Yeah.
that listen to these infomercials and really have no clue, and they're getting robbed.
Yeah.
Exactly. Those commercials. I want to bring those up.
Yeah, 'cause
Definitely.
So
that-
we're going to talk about
I've got 6,500 buyers in
Yeah,
the wait.
exactly.
Liar.
Exactly.
How can you even say that?
they just lie all the time.
Just
Lie,
make
lie,
it-
lie. All right, stand by. We're coming back for segment number 2. You okay with that? Good, good, good.
Oh, yeah.
All right, stand by. Welcome back to What's Your Next Move, one of the best real estate shows out there. And we're carrying it right here on News Radio WFLA Orlando. Let's head back to the studio. Neil Lavelle, Tanya Rivers, and their special guest, which we're going to get into right now.
Yes, Kevin. Welcome, Kevin. We are super excited to have him.
Thank you.
Perfect title and escrow. And we're here to debunk everything that you're hearing out there. You're not aware of, but maybe you don't know what to Google, right? Google's out there, but maybe you just don't know what's actually Googleable, Kevin. So you're going to help us get to the nitty gritty on this and help our listeners really understand what is really going on. So, Kevin, there is a big, huge market right now on television, on infomercials and commercials. What is going on about locking your title insurance and they're being able to protect it from being stolen by thieves and charging $199 a month? What is that?
Okay, well, I think before we get into that, we just need to discuss what title insurance is.
Yeah,
Right,
I definitely think
right,
we should.
So-
People don't know.
Yeah.
No, nobody knows what the title company does.
Yeah, right.
People that work at the title company don't know what the title company does.
All right, you tell us, Kevin. Tell us what the answer is.
But when you purchase a home, you purchase owner's title insurance. Sometimes it's paid for the buyer, sometimes it's paid for by the seller. But you're purchasing a title policy that protects you and your home, basically up until the day you buy your home. Okay, so meaning if there was a lien on the property that wasn't found, your title insurance protects you against that.
Right.
They will pay the lien off if it wasn't paid at closing. If somebody comes knocking on your door with a deed from 5 years ago and says, look, the previous owner deeded the property to me, not you, I own this house, that's what your title insurance policy protects you against.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So it's important to have because you don't want the state knocking on your door 3 years after you buy your house saying, oh, by the way, the 2016 taxes weren't paid. You owe $8,000 on your home. If that happens, again, that's what your owner's title policy protects you
So
against.
when exactly do they get that policy?
They
Kevin?
get it at the day of closing.
All right, day of closing. There
Okay.
it is.
So now, what these companies like HomeLock and I don't know all of them, and
It's a plethora of them.
Yeah.
Every time you turn on the TV, it's a different one. They may be owned by the same company. Who knows?
Yeah.
But they all have different names, and they're saying, "Hey, we can protect you for." I mean, I saw one for $199 a month.
So from what I understand, they are monitoring your public records.
Okay.
Okay. They are not stopping title fraud. So what's title fraud? Okay. I take a deed. I write it myself. I write from Kevin to Neil. I sign Kevin's name to it, even though I'm not Kevin.
Right.
I get somebody to notarize it who's probably also in on the fraud. 2 people to witness it who's also in on the fraud. Take it down to the clerk's office.
And file it.
And
Pay
then
my
you sign.
$15 to record it, and boom! Suddenly there's a recorded
A
document.
new deed.
And now there's a new deed. Just that easy?
Yeah, just that easy.
Whoa.
So what these title
This is not good.
what those companies do is they monitor public records. So when something gets recorded against your house, they send you an alert. It's kind of no different than when you get
Like
identity.
a LifeLock or something? Identity
Yeah,
theft?
identity
Okay,
theft.
okay.
When something pops up on your credit report, they alert
You
you.
get notified.
Right. It's the same thing. Something pops up in public records against you or your home, they alert you. Hey,
Right.
there's this deed recorded.
But they're saying they can protect you against it.
That I don't.
Exactly.
Well, no. They're from what I've seen.
Right.
Could be wrong. They are just monitoring your public record. So now, what happens when this happens? And
Right.
they send you a notification saying, "Hey, guess what? This deed was recorded against you."
Right.
There's steps you have to take. You have
Okay.
the biggest step. Number one would be to hire an attorney.
Okay.
And have an attorney file the proper motions and file the proper affidavits to get that deed squashed. Okay. Obviously, also contact the sheriff's department because that's fraud that's been committed against
Right.
you. File a police report. But those companies don't make that deed go away. That deed will still be there. You have to do that on your own. They may point you in the right direction. They may have attorneys that they work with that they
Wow.
direct you to. But you still have to go through all the steps.
So there's no
to get
such thing as a lock your title.
No, there's
Right.
nothing that will stop. There's nothing
Gotcha.
where somebody goes with a fake deed down to the clerk's office and goes to record it, and the clerk says, "Nope, sorry, you can't record this deed. This
Right.
title's been locked."
Right, exactly.
That
Because that's what
doesn't-
you're thinking. There's a person there
So
that's
why
taking the
do
money.
these people think they can just pay $199 and be protected? It's just-
Advertisement.
It's just a big fraud.
I don't know if
Wow.
it's a fraud because they are monitoring your.
your activity.
But
They're-
the
but they're not
keyword is
stopping.
lock, though, right?
Right.
The keyword is lock. I can stop anyone from recording a deed at the county appraiser's office.
They can't.
That's
well,
the key,
they can't.
right?
That no. That's what he's saying. You
Yeah,
can't do
exactly.
that.
Right.
The only thing you can do is monitor
Correct.
Right.
your any activity on
Right.
your deed.
Right.
Which you
That's
could
it.
which you could do yourself. But I mean, does everybody want to log into public records once a week and check to see if anything was recorded against them? Probably not.
No.
So that's what these companies. That's what their software does. That's what these companies
Okay.
do. Is they alert you that, hey, there was a lien filed against you. There was a
Wow.
mechanics lien. There was. I mean, it's not an. It's a helpful tool if that's
Okay.
what you're looking for.
Okay.
Right.
But I don't want people to think that, hey, this is going to stop somebody from stealing
Being
my house.
fraudulent.
That's good information.
Right.
Yeah, no, because a lot of people really think that when they watch these infomercials that, listen, if I pay this $199, no one can actually get to my deed. But
Right.
Right.
here in the state of Florida, it is the, and I think, there's a lot of other states like in New York, I know they have a different program. It's called Accurus. And they you got to go through some necessary steps
Right.
before you can actually change a deed.
Right.
Right.
And it really just cuts down on so much fraud. But
Oh, absolutely.
But for here in Florida, no, it's a known fact that you can really
Right.
you can easily
That's
sign.
scary.
It is scary, but you can just sign your deed and go down there and
Right.
record it and get somebody to fraudulently do it.
And it's not just deeds; it's liens.
Yeah.
Somebody could decide, hey, Neil Lavelle owes me $20. write up a lien, and go down and record it against the property.
Pay up, Neil. Pay the money.
And with some ridiculous amount of interest on it, and you don't know about it. And then
Right.
5 years, you go to sell your house, and your title company says, "Hey, Neil, there's a lien against you. That was $20. It's now $2,000 because of all the interest." And you're like, "Wait, what?" Now that may not be a valid lien.
Right.
Again, you have to hire an attorney. You have to get
Right,
it squashed.
right,
you have
right,
they
right,
have to
right.
prove that they had a legitimate reason to. there's a
and
whole
that's-
bunch of
and
legal
that's why
stuff.
you have good title companies that you work with. They do
Right.
their due diligence, your chain of hands, and all that good stuff that has your chain of controls and everything that has to happen. You want to make sure all those things are done, and when you're
Right.
discovering all those.
But all that could be a hassle too.
Exactly.
If it's $100 or something, it may just be. It's easier just to pay Neil the $100 than to hire an attorney to try and squash this
Right.
or
Right.
remove this
Right,
lien.
right.
But that stuff can happen too. There's nothing that stops anybody from
Right.
going down and recording a lien on your property.
So Kev, so tell me, what is it that you guys do at Perfect Title and Escrow that really helps them to protect themselves in these scenarios?
Well, we're just a title company,
Okay.
so we handle everything up to the closing of the property.
Okay.
So we do all the searches, and we do all the public record searches, and the courthouse searches, and the municipal lien searches, and the tax deed searches, and all that to make sure that when you purchase a home, you're purchasing it what's called free and clear. You're getting it with a clean slate. There's nothing that's going to come back and bite you. There's nothing that's going to say, hey, cause you an issue or a headache down the road. Again, if something does pop up that we miss, and it rarely happens, that's what your insurance, your title policy protects you against.
So let me ask you a question, Kev. So Perfect Title and Escrow, just like the mortgage companies, right? Everything is competitive, right? Just
Yes.
like with realtors, with mortgage loans. I mean, you're shopping rates, just like cars. What makes your title company different? What are you offering out there in the market to say, hey, we want to work with these guys because of X, Y, and Z?
It's service.
Okay.
I mean, really, like, when it boils down to it, as far as fees and stuff go, every title company's fees are a little bit different. But the state has what's called promulgated rate, which means title insurance is set by the state
Correct.
based on the sales price.
Right.
Yep.
So if you go to me, if you go to Joe Blow Attorney, if you go to somebody else, other time, you're going to pay the same
Right.
amount for your owner's title policy. What you're getting differently is the level of service. Are you dealing with the owner of the company like you would be dealing with me? Are you
Right.
dealing with somebody who's going
Like
to
the
answer the
true
phone?
white glove service.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Are you dealing with someone that's going to answer the phone when you call and respond to an email when you send them an email that's going to answer all your questions? Or are you dealing with somebody that has 100 files on their desk and they can't be bothered to respond to you? So it's like buying a car.
Right.
You can get a Ford from me, or a Ford from the guy down the block, or a Ford from the guy in West Palm Beach.
Right.
They're all Fords. Why do you pick one dealership over the other? Because you like the salesman, you like the service they give you, you like the man. So it's the same.
Very nice.
It's similar.
So going to you is like going to the best of the best. That's really what
Well,
you're
that's
really
just
wanna
it.
say,
That's the
Kev.
white glove service. That's right. Perfect Title and Escrow. Kevin Durant, thank
I've
you
been
so
doing
much.
it 18 years. So
18
How do we get a
years.
hold of you?
my number is 888 short 50 SHORT 50 because I also do short sales.
That's right, and that's what we're getting ready to talk about. Thank you
Short
so much.
sales.
Yep.
Yeah, stay tuned for sure.
Yep, you guys are listening to What's Your Next Move? And why, folks, is Orlando so tasty to people outside of this state?
Right.
We'll talk about all that coming up. Stay right there.
All right, Tony, you're up. Lifestyle.
Tasty. I like that. Why are we tasty?
Tasty.
Well, yeah, that's what word came to mind. What are you gonna do?
It is.
All right, so far we're on schedule. We're on segment number 3 of
What's
4.
number 3 on your list? What's number 3 on your list?
Tasty.
Tasty.
Beyond tasty. on
Short
the-
sales.
Oh, short sales. Okay. And why?
All right, let me see what I got here. All right. We are ready for our segment number 3. As soon as I push that button there and this button here. All right. Doop, doop. Welcome back. It's time now for another segment of What's Your Next Move? Real estate at its best with, well, let's say some tasty people in there, including Tanya Rivers. Yes, and Neil Lavelle. It is their show. So go on, take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Melissa. Melissa left us with a cliffhanger there. Why is Orlando and Central Florida so tasty? It's the lifestyle, Neil.
It
When
is.
you're
This is
coming
Central
into this
Florida.
area, not only, I mean, come on, the big thing you always hear about is Disney, right? Disney's huge, huge, huge. And that's one of the major attractions. But there are so many beautiful beaches. There's so much to do in Central Florida. The weather's always beautiful. I mean, you're grilling when everyone else around the world is out there, in the snow and the ice and all that. And
we're by poolside.
We're poolside all year long. Christmas, grilling out at Christmas time, and it's just really a different culture. You know, and Central Florida is a melting pot, Neil. A lot of folks are relocating from so many places, and it's so different now, right?
Nah, it's
you
true.
have such a variety of people moving in, different cultures, backgrounds, and it's really a melting pot. And to talk about food for real, we do have some of the best restaurants,
We
best
do.
small businesses.
Because it's a melting pot
It
here.
is delicious
Yeah,
food
no, we
from
do.
all around the world here. So
Because of Disney, we have everybody from all over the world
Visiting.
comes here. So, and from every nationality, you can find a specialty
Exactly.
restaurant right here in Orlando, which is the best of the best.
It
I
is.
mean, and it's really authentic. So,
It's experience.
It's the experience. But you know what I always say: people buy the lifestyle, and they buy the opportunity.
Correct.
You know, and the opportunity to change your life here just creates the demand to come to Florida. Why? Because the kids, number one, everybody wants their kids to have a great time growing up. And who doesn't want to grow up around Central Florida and grow up around Disney and take their kid? I know
safe communities
and
great schools.
and great schools.
And then on top of that, you
things
have
for the kids to do.
exactly, and the cost of living too. I mean, let's think about it. I mean, before, Kevin, everyone's growing up, the different age groups. But 20 years ago, you thought, well, Florida is just a retirement place.
Yeah.
Everyone's just coming there to retire. Not so.
No.
I mean, you might get your second wind here in Central Florida, but it's definitely not considered a retirement state necessarily with the seniors that are past a certain age point. I mean,
We
people
got
are
more
moving and
action
shaking.
than New York City.
Absolutely, and even the senior living communities are happening.
Off the
Event
hook.
calendars are packed jam. So
They really
so
are.
definitely. So no, it is the place to be. And we left off talking about Kevin, and he was sharing with us about the title. And I want to piggyback off of something, Neil. We're talking about short sales as we're talking about lifestyle and price
Right.
point, right?
Right.
So 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you're finding that $250,000, $300,000 home and really just pocketing a lot of money. Now interest rates are a little bit higher. Foreclosures are being filed. We're having short sales. Let's talk about the difference between short sale and foreclosure and what strategy still needs to happen, because you still need to sell your home, Neil. And I see a lot what's happening right now is even as realtors and agents, sometimes the homes are overpriced.
Right.
Because I know they're trying to recoup some of that money. They have to relocate. They're going to have to find new places to live, the credit. I mean, what's really happening with that? Because they're just sitting on the market.
Well, see, but first of all, you guys need that. When you're listening to us, call us. Because if you know that your realtor is not doing a good job, we're not hating on anyone. We just really want to make sure that you get a real professional job. And we're going to come to you at a high level of integrity. And we're going to deliver that value. And we're going to give you what's real, right? And a lot of people, they want that realtor to give them that fake, false number that your property isn't worth. I mean, you really have to go, a home is worth what someone is willing to pay for.
Or at least have the conversation, Neil, because sometimes, sometimes our sellers, they want a certain price and sometimes they just don't budge on it. So
Well,
that
but
price, we have to have a real conversation and let
And
them
a lot
know
of
your
people
home
don't
is going
wanna
to
hear that.
exactly, and it's going to exasperate your situation, and you're going to end up sitting there. The bill's going to rack up. You're not going to have as much profit. You're going to owe your fees, and then we'll be in a situation of short sale moving into a foreclosure.
Well, we'll see, and that's where it goes, right? So let's just break it down. So normally, and guys, we're out there. If you really want to just sell your home and you gotta really want to understand your situation, book an appointment with me and Tanya, and we can actually sit down and go through what your financial situation looks like when it comes to your real estate and give you what the real is. So we can then really help you on what your next move is, right? So, but there's a lot of people that's out there, Tanya, that really have fell behind.
Right.
And the ones that have fell behind, it's not that, there's a lot that have fell behind, and
Right.
now they have lived out what they would have had in equity.
Right.
Because those interest payments don't go away. So now, let's say for argument's sake, your home was worth $300,000, but you haven't made your mortgage payment in over a year.
Right.
Well, if your home is really worth $300 now, and you owe $300, well, yeah, is there a way to sell the house?
Correct.
Yes, that's
Yes.
what a short sale is. So now we have to go in and negotiate with the bank and really put the property on the market for what it's worth.
And the banks, sometimes they're going to be that determining factor, and they're going to tell you what they need.
Oh yeah, the bank is going to come out and inspect as well.
Exactly. So it's not a magic number, guys. It's a
no,
real
it's
number.
not. It's a real number. They're
Right.
going to come out and they're going to either do an appraisal, or they're going to have what they call another broker price opinion, which is his opinion of what the value is going to be. And then you need a short sale company like Kevin or a title company that understands the process. And
Right.
Kev is one of the best in the business. I've done several short sales with him. And there's a full process, and you have to have a title company and an agent and the lender and sometimes even an attorney or a bankruptcy attorney to really get yourself through the process. So when you have all of those things in line, then it really can make it easy. But if you just have an experienced realtor that knows the process, how to get it on the market, what price point to get it on the market at, get a qualified buyer for it, and then be able to work through the negotiation with the title company, because now that buyer wants clear and marketable title, and you owe more to the bank than what the property is.
And you want to be
worth.
proactive, and that's what I hear you saying. We want to be proactive because, again, you know the financial stress. If you didn't qualify for, a loan modification or something else or a refi or something, you have to know what's coming next, right? And
Which
so
is
a lot of
foreclosure.
times, but a lot of times what you see is they let the property go. So you don't have the extra money, you stop making the payments, and next thing you know, the property is going downhill. That's not going to help the value. That's not going to help when they do come out and do an appraisal or when they're looking at the property. It's not going to be appealing. I mean, it's a lot of work to be done. And then people start lowballing you, right?
No, well, that's true. Kev,
Right, Kev? What do you think?
Yeah, I think what you're getting at is people they kind of give up.
Yeah, they do.
Because they're getting letters from the bank, they're getting letters from attorneys, they're getting lawsuits filed against them, they're getting served, and they don't know what to do. They know they can't afford to keep making mortgage payments or pay all the back interest and everything that's owed. So they get frustrated. They throw their hands up in the air and they say, let them come take the house. I don't care. Well, that's kind of the worst thing you can do. And that's why you need a team that knows the process, that knows how to, Neil's done, like he said, multiple short sales with us. So I've done probably, I don't know, over the past 15 years, probably well over 1,000 short sales that we've negotiated.
Wow.
So you need a team that's going to, know what they're doing. Not just some realtor who's doing it part-time, on the weekends. That's done short sales before, the title company that's done short sales before, that can explain everything to you so that you don't feel stressed.
Right, and I think that's one key thing, the white glove experience, because this is still your property.
Yes.
Whether it's your primary or an investment property, it's something that you either, bought to live in or you wanted to pass down to your kids or possibly an investment property. And hey, you're losing it really because you can't afford to pay for it. So it does take someone that has sensitivity on top of an understanding to help you understand what that process looks like. And then after, what's your next move? We got to get you into another property. We got to get you, are we going to be renting? What are those qualifications? We need to, let's look at your credit situation. So it's not just moving the home. It's preparing for what's next. And a lot of times you might have families, your school districts. I mean, and that's where a full service realtor comes in place because we help from top to the bottom. So we help you with your selling, with your moving, with your relocating, getting you, reestablished. Neil is an expert at foreclosures and, short sales and things like that and dealing with emotional things like death, and divorce. And that stuff is real. And so sometimes you lose your property just because of a or a divorce or something like that. So it's not always necessarily a money thing, but it's a change in your environment, right? A change in your lifestyle.
Or a change in your circumstances.
Exactly.
So it's crazy, and a lot of times too, people get into these things. And listen, guys, I really do specialize in death, debt, and divorce.
Right.
But I'm here to help you.
Absolutely.
So
you can reach us at, this is Tanya Rivers, 407-837-1247.
And it's Neil Lavelle, 407-466-1529.
Kevin.
Kevin, 888-SHORT-50.
That's it. And Melissa Fox, 2 X's. Oh, I thought we were just giving out our info.
Hey!
What's your next move? We'll be right back. Stay right there. I'm a funny girl. All right, where was I? Come on to the end.
I was about to get into the triple D's, Melissa.
I heard you.
I was just about to say the
Wait,
triple D's.
what show is this?
Oh, it's the real. It's the real.
That's the next show.
Dirt, decadence, and desire.
Exactly.
I know you know how I do.
That's right.
All right, let's see, 13.
Death, debt, and divorce.
Whatever.
Triple D's.
All right. Segment 4, last segment of the day for the show.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can't believe this.
really does go fast, right? Okay, stand by. Trust me, Danny. Let's see what we got.
Danny, huh?
I don't know why. What's the name of the song?
Okay.
You sure? Welcome back. It's What's Your Next Move? What do you think that means? Well, it means what's your next move? I mean, it's pretty simple. In the studio, our co-hosts, we've got Tanya Rivers and Neil Lavelle. I am Melissa Fox, just guiding this experience along. So tranquil, isn't it?
Wow, hey, listen.
All right, what's going on, kids?
Well, listen, I was just about to tell you guys that before, there's a lot of situations that are out there. And me and Tanya, I've got a real story, Tanya, because I've been through some things. You can't be in the real estate business for 28 years and not gone through some things. And, I relate to just normal people that have went through, a divorce in their family. And I went through one, and I've lost family members that had real estate. And bankruptcy. There are people that go through, have run into financial crunches and went through a bankruptcy. I went through a bankruptcy. So,
Right, and just dealing with that emotion of it,
Yeah,
but
it's tough.
but
It's tough.
you power through with the right strategy.
well, we're on the
You
other
get
side
through. That's
now.
right. You're on the other side of it, and you put something in place. So let's talk about that, Neil. Let's explore what we actually do. We're talking about divorce. You're talking about debt. You're talking about things that happen. Some things that come up all the time is the quitclaim deed. We
Right.
hear about the quitclaim deed or the in lieu of deed and deed in lieu, right? And that's something you specialize in too, Kevin. Let's talk a little bit about the deed in lieu and kind of how the quitclaim deed process works for people who are going through different transitions, and you might have to move a property or.
Well, number one, I mean, Kevin, you can maybe even expand on this, is, when you're going through a foreclosure, the banks offer you the option of saying, look, get out of the way and give me back the deed.
Right.
And that's the deed in lieu, right?
Well, right. A deed in lieu is a deed in lieu of foreclosure, is what it stands for. So instead of making the bank go through the legal process of hiring an attorney and going to court and getting a judgment and all that stuff, banks says, look, just sometimes they call it handing over the keys.
Right.
Just give us the keys to the house.
Right.
But it's essentially still a foreclosure. They're taking their house from you. You're getting nothing,
Right.
and you got to get out.
And it still goes on your credit.
And it still goes on your credit.
That's a
Goes
big
on your
one.
credit.
Right. A quick claim deed is a deed that's like I'm transferring the property to Neil, but I am not
I'll take it.
warranting. I'm not warranting that deed at all.
What
Meaning,
does that mean, though?
okay, well, when you look at a warranty deed, like a general warranty deed, there's language in there that warranties the deed. It's like saying, I know this is my property. I will fully give it to you. I know there's nothing wrong with it. There's a whole bunch of legalese. A quick claim deed is just like, here's a property. I don't know anything about it. I'm not responsible for anything. Don't ask me if the taxes are owed or anything. Here's just take the property.
Right.
So it's just basically transferring ownership. It's not warrantying the deed that, hey, I'm telling you that everything is right. I own this property. I have a right to sell it. It's free and clear.
So that's some of the stuff that you're hearing, like during probate and different things, or now you hear a lot of things out on social media where they're like, hey, put the property, give it to your kid, things like that. Sometimes these situations, they're inheriting back tax problems.
Well, yeah,
Somebody
those things
passes
don't
away.
go
They don't
away.
go
Yeah,
away just
no.
because you give someone a quick claim deed. You could be
No.
setting your kids up or the family member up. Oh, I got a house, but what
Yeah,
comes
people
along with that
think
house, right?
But they don't really know, so they just think if I give you the deed,
Correct.
I can circumvent all this debt that's against the property.
Correct.
It's
And
not
it doesn't
true.
happen.
It's
and
not
it
true.
doesn't go anywhere. No.
And some people use that, and I'm not an attorney, but I know some people will use that as a delaying tactic for
Right.
the bank. The foreclosures against the husband, he quick claims the deed to the wife, and then the bank has to
Right.
re-foreclose again. It's like, that's stall tactics and stuff, but the end result is you gotta get out of the house, and it's gonna be
Or
foreclosed
pay.
on.
Or pay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's one of the two.
Right.
You're going to pay or you're going to move. So
Right.
it's make a decision.
Yeah.
But there's a strategy in there that you can really strategize in how to do that. And if you can, and if you can do that with us, I mean, because that's
Right.
what we really specialize in, or that's what we can really help you, be the bridge to get past and get through those situations.
Right.
And having empathy in those, especially when you're going through a divorce. I mean, there's so many families that really just need a professional that can help you get through that period
Right.
of your life. And it's really a restart. It's, making sure the kids are good, making sure that the assets get protected, making
Right.
sure that, you get your fair share out of the property, or making sure that the home gets refinanced and transferred. So there's several ways of looking at the assets when you're going through a divorce, Tanya, but
doing it timely. That's what I'm hearing.
I was just about to say that.
Doing it timely,
it's
right?
just making sure that it happens quickly.
Avoiding it is not the right tactic
not.
because it's just going to compound the situation. And I think a lot of times, even dealing
It
with probate,
aggravates the situation,
and
too.
when someone passes away, unfortunately, if there's
That's
maybe
another
a
one.
family estate home or something, you've got 7 or 8 siblings that
They
are
start
tied to
fighting
that.
over the
You
money.
have to find them all. Then everyone has their hand out. They have to collectively agree to sell, and then you had to go through probate because maybe there weren't things in writing. Then you're waiting on a judge to give you the authority to sell, and it's just so much.
So that's
that
why if you
happens
guys
with
are
that.
listening and you are going through a divorce, you can call us. This is Neil Lavelle, 407-466-1529, or neillavelle.com, NEALLOVELL.com. So call us if you're going through that, if you have death in the family, or before.
Correct.
What the biggest problem is? People don't do estate planning.
Correct. And that's a whole nother thing.
It really is. But
Really, estate
but if
planning
you're in
and
that
wills
situation,
and trust and things
call
like
us. I mean, that's really where we specialize in, and
Right.
that's one of the things that we can do to really help be that bridge again, getting you guys through that situation.
Right.
And if you are heading into bankruptcy, I've got
Right.
a slew of real good bankruptcy attorneys that will help you restructure your debt. People think of bankruptcy as a bad thing.
But there's options.
That's exactly it.
Corporations do it all the time. Businesses do it all the time. Individuals
did
have.
it.
Oh.
Well, that's because the guy knew how to work all
Wow.
those,
Listen, he ran for president, so it ain't that bad.
But again, you can structure things differently, and there's a lot of debt consolidation programs out there,
Yep.
so that can help you avoid going into bankruptcy again in the future.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is you can't bury your head in the sand.
Right.
I think that's
Right.
what you're
Right.
getting
So
at.
true.
As bad things are happening and you're falling behind and your
Right.
credit's bad and family, whatever, as you're going through a divorce, the worst thing you can do is ignore it.
Right.
And just
Yeah.
hope it goes away on its own. 'Cause
I call it
doesn't.
the mailbox syndrome. That's what I
What
teach.
is the
That's what I teach
mailbox
in my credit
syndrome?
program. The mailbox syndrome. You don't want to go to the mailbox and check your bills. You don't want to hit the box because you don't know what's in it. You
That's
just
real.
take the pink and orange and green color papers that they use and you just chuck it away, and just one day you're like, it's just this big, huge pile of mail,
problems.
unopened mail.
Well, no, here's the thing. I get from the post office an email every morning telling me what's in it. So if I see, I'm just letting, I'm going to get it today.
Exactly. You don't even want to check your email. USPS, delete. So
but
definitely
it's true.
that's
It's
the
true.
truth.
But you know what? On the other side of this is where a lot of opportunities lie for the buyers that's
Mm-hmm. Right.
out there. You can really find good opportunities, and this is why people flock to Central Florida,
Right.
and come to us because they know that we have opportunities
Right.
where people are, look, they may not be looking for the highest price.
Right.
Their home may not be, in the best condition, but it's an opportunity for
Correct.
you to come in,
Correct.
or you guys that's listening out there, for you to come in and actually say, hey, look, I can maybe change the colors. Maybe I can extend the room. Maybe I can open the kitchen. But there's several opportunities out there in the market. You just have
To
to
get
really
a
look.
real evaluation,
And
working
that's
with
right.
real professionals. We
a
are
high level of
We're with
integrity.
LPT Realty. We have home evaluations that we can give.
Oh, yeah.
We have different programs that we can sit down and talk to you about the real value of your home and make recommendations and really get you the money to help you with some of those fees. Because remember, probate costs,
Yeah.
attorneys costs,
Yeah.
fees. I mean, nothing's cheap.
Nothing's cheap, but if
anymore.
but listen, if you guys are out there and you don't, like Tanya said, don't hide behind the mailbox.
Mailbox syndrome.
Oh, mailbox syndrome. So listen, if you're in that situation, call us because most times we have an angle for you
There's
or
some
an attorney
solutions.
for you. Or a
There's some
solution.
real solutions there.
Well, call us. This is Neil Lavelle, 407-466-1529.
Tanya Rivers, that is 407-837-1247.
Kevin Doran, Perfect Title at 888-SHORT-50 or Kevin at perfecttitle.com.
And you guys are listening to Neil and Tanya. What's your next move?
We'll be back next Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. You stay right here on News Radio
See you
WFLA,
guys.
Orlando.
All right, Melissa.
Wow, that
Our
was
first show's a wrap. Woo! You just gonna leave me hanging? Woo!
my bad.